Welcome to the Dirt on Real Estate, everyone. Great to have you here today. As always, this is a Utah-based podcast for everything you need to know about buying, owning, and loving your first home. Today we have a great episode ahead. I'm going to take just a minute to go over a couple shopping items that you might not have thought about, that you may need those first couple days after buying a new home. And then we're going to get into an interview with Nate Moulton from Edge Homes. Nate is on the sales team with Edge Homes, and we get into a great conversation about what the buying process looks like with Edge Homes. And then finally, we head out to Riverton to tour a single family home by Edge Homes. It's a beautiful home, so stay tuned for that at the end of the show. Okay, I'm going to take just a minute here to talk about a couple of items that you may need to buy that first week that you get into your new home. Now, we all know that buying a home is an expensive process. Obviously, it's a huge investment, and we don't always think about the little things that add up in cost. So it can be important to save a couple of $1,000s for some of the things like new furniture, depending on where you're moving from. If you have furniture that you're moving into, things like bigger appliances like a washer and dryer, or if you need an extra fridge or freezer to put in the garage. Small things like trash cans to go in your home, in your bathrooms, lawn care equipment, a lawnmower, things to tend to the sprinklers. Shower curtains is a big one that I think we forget about sometimes. Bath mats. You always want a fire extinguisher in your home. Maybe you need more storage supplies, organizers, bins to go in your garage. Just these little things that can add up and that you're not necessarily thinking about until you get into your home and you realize, oh my goodness, we don't have any trash cans or we don't have shower curtains. So it can be important to save a couple hundred to a couple $1,000s for those unexpected things that come up after you move into your new home, for those late night Amazon orders to bigger things like maybe your washer and dryer. So there's just my 2 cents on a couple of things, but that's enough of me rambling. Let's get into this interview with Nate. We are here today with Nate Moulton from Edge Homes. Nate, so excited to have you on today to get to talk about Edge and dive a little deeper into the process of buying with Edge Homes. So give us just a couple minutes here, minute or two. Give us your background and how long you've been with Edge.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Will. I'm excited to be here. My background, I've been a real estate agent for about 9 years now here in Utah. Born and bred Utah and grew up in Utah County. I started in real estate being a regular real estate agent where I would help buyers and sellers for about 5 years, and then ended up getting an opportunity to work for Edge and go to the new construction side of things, and thought that was a good opportunity with the growth that Utah is facing. I thought that being in new construction was a pretty good spot to be, so I jumped over here and it's been great. We've always got cool incentives and great prices and cool communities, so it's been a fun transition and been pretty easy to get people into homes with Edge. So
Right on. No, they definitely make a good product. If people have watched the show, at the end we do a home tour, and so far they've all been the Edge Homes, and they are just awesome. We love going through them. So give us just a little bit of an update on Edge Homes right now. Where are they building? How long have they been around? That kind of stuff.
yeah, so Edge started actually in 2008. So of all the times to start in real estate, they picked a hard one, but they've done great since then. They've just grown and grown and grown. This year we are the biggest builder in Utah by a long ways. Last stat I saw, now I don't want to give exact numbers in case I'm off, but last stat that I saw on housing starts in the state is we were far ahead of any of the other competitors by 400 or 500 houses. So they've grown to be the biggest builder in the state of Utah. Yeah, we've got communities. We're pretty concentrated. We're as far south as Mapleton in Utah County and as far north as Harriman and Riverton right now. We're going to be adding some communities in West Valley and West Jordan, Taylorsville. I think actually we're opening our Taylorsville community this month. So that's, we're pretty much Utah, Salt Lake County, and then that Taylorsville community. Yeah, tons of communities and options available from condos, homes, and singles.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely have to get out and check out that Taylorsville community that's coming up. That sounds great. Honestly, it makes it nice in some ways that you're so concentrated because you know exactly what you're going to get with Edge. They have it down to a T going in and building out these communities.
They really are a machine. Like the edge building process is incredible to watch. With single family homes, they will start digging start digging the foundation hole. And when they start that, the home is generally done. Our contract gives us 110 days to finish the house from the time that we dig that hole. And so we're usually done in about 90, 95 to give us a little bit of buffer room. But they just have this machine well oiled and fine tuned and can really crank out homes. And they're still beautiful, well built homes. So if speed's a thing for a buyer, if they want something that they can design and be done quickly, Edge is going to be the best bet on the market.
So you mentioned how quick the building process is. Take us through what it looks like. This is kind of the meat of the episode right here. So just take us through what it looks like for a buyer coming into Edge, just what the buying process looks like, whether they're designing the whole home or is there opportunity for them to buy a house that's already built already so they can get in even a little quicker. What does that look like for someone?
Yeah, great question. With Edge, there are options for both. We do empty lots where you can pick a home, pick the lot, and then go through the whole design process. Or we have a ton of quick move-ins that we build as spec homes where our design team goes and picks all the upgrades and color palettes and things like that. And we have a bunch of those available. So there's really options. It just depends on what is best for the buyer. As far as like the process goes, generally the way it works is a buyer will come into a model home with their real estate agent and will meet with somebody like me, one of our sales team. I'm one of 30 agents here at Edge, and would walk through what exactly they're looking for and what their timeline is, what their budget is. And once we narrow down a few of those things, then we can go and identify either houses or townhomes or condos in the communities that would work for their, what they're looking for. From there, I would go and show them model homes so they can see what these units look like with furniture in them, and then go and look at like the actual dirt where the buildings either are and existing or where they would be built, so they can kind of get a good sense of location and feel of the community and things. With a quick move in, well, I guess we'll start with that, is if they find one that they like, they walk through the house, they're like, all right, this is the one, then they would just let their buyer agent know, and the Edge agent, we would send them a contract, they would sign it. The Edge process is super streamlined and so simple. The buyer would pay some earnest money that is sent to them via a link in their email, so they can just pay their earnest money online. They would have about a week of due diligence to, talk to the lender and get an idea of if this is going to work numbers-wise for them. If it doesn't, they could cancel and keep that earnest money, and that would just be returned right to their bank account. And then if they decide that everything looks good, then they can go forward. Edge does a bunch of inspections. They can do a final home orientation walkthrough, and then we schedule closing and give them keys at the closing table if they're using the preferred lender. So super, super simple process with the quick move-ins.
Yeah, easy enough. And it does make it a lot simpler, especially with the due diligence process, because there's a lot less that you have to go through with a new build. So that is awesome. All right, let's jump into if you're actually designing a home. What does that look like for someone?
Designing is both super fun and really hard because there is a lot of options. Edge considers themselves a production builder, but at the same time, they offer a ton of customizations. There are 30 plus cabinet designs to choose from, for example. Like this stair railing right here behind me, there's like 8 of those. And then all the different colors or materials and stains and finishes, things like that. So there really are tons and tons of design options for every home. When a buyer goes under contract on a build lot, they would, same thing, pay that earnest money, have that due diligence period, but then they would schedule an appointment with our design studio. We have full-time professional interior designers who work with the buyer through this whole process. We've got photos and examples of everything. Our design studio is state-of-the-art and has just examples of everything that they're going to want to look at. They'd go and meet with that designer and just start going through things line by line item. It's generally a 4 to 6 hour appointment of just going through every detail of the house, from what the exterior would look like, what type of siding, what style of siding, whether it's like a farmhouse or a craftsman or a more modern look.
Are these designers that are at the warehouse the same ones that design your model homes?
They are, yeah, the exact same ones that do all of our model homes and our spec homes.
Cool. Because, just walking through, we've done, I don't know, close to 15 model homes now that we've walked through. They are impeccable and they are so seamless and amazing. And for me, thinking about it as if I were a buyer, it's a little overwhelming having to design all of that in a day or two. So knowing that you have these professional interior designers behind you, helping you walk you through it, I don't know, it's comforting knowing that they've got your back.
Yeah, they're really good at guiding people and keeping people in safe areas if they're like, just talking to them about the pros and cons of every decision. One thing I will say is it's not just a 1 day or 2 day thing. That's the beauty of it, is it's not just an appointment. That's the initial design studio appointment where you can go through and make your preliminary selections. And then you've got a week to 2 weeks to fine tune that before you have what they call a final design studio appointment, where you go through and actually finalize the selections that you've made. And then at that point, then it's just waiting for engineering to get done, and we'd submit for permits and then get put on the dig schedule and then wait for the house to be built.
Man, even better, even better.
Cool detail I thought I would mention, Will. People say cookie cutter when they look at big production builders. One thing that is so cool that Edge does is they have a program or a process called ADP, Architectural Design Path, where if a buyer likes a floor plan but wants to change a few things, they can go and meet with an Edge architect and change the floor plan in a way that is not like a standard option, if that makes sense. So,
no way.
And a ton of people will do that and come up with really awesome designs and changes that are unique to them and that they would prefer. And that takes a house from being, almost perfect to the perfect house for them, exactly what they were looking for. So that's a really cool option that Edge does offer. Make sure that our buyers are well taken care of and are happy.
That is really cool. Is there an extra cost to that?
Yeah, there is.
I would assume so.
It's like, I want to say the fee is $7,000 to go and have that consultation. And then any changes that you make in there will be based off of our regular design studio, upgrade costs. And a lot of people go do like 4 or 5 car garages and make the garages double deep, or will pop out bedroom walls and make sure bedrooms are bigger, all sorts of things like that. Put basement apartments in. There's a ton of ways that you can get really creative to change the floor plan.
Speaking a little bit of finances, just walk us through condo, townhome, single family. What do prices typically look like for someone?
Great question. So Edge has what they call a base price, and then we have like a spec home price. The base price is if you were to go through and do that build process, and it starts at 0 upgrades or options and then goes all the way up to, where we do our spec homes. We will include the design upgrades or options in that price. So I'll just do base prices for simplicity. For condos, our starting price for condos is going to be $300,000 about. There may be a couple that you can go and get down to $290,000 or so, depending on the incentive that Edge has available. And maybe, instead of having Edge cover closing costs, you have Edge reduce the purchase price, and you can get a condo starting as low as, $290,000. And then in some of our more expensive areas and communities, condos are going to be as high as $400,000, depending on, which floor it is, how nice the unit is, and obviously location. So that's condos, 3 to 4 is a good range for that. So townhomes base prices are going to start in the low to mid 400s, again, depending on the area, and will go all the way up to low 500s. So, Salt Lake County, Riverton area is going to be a little bit more expensive than like South Utah County, Mapleton, or Eagle Mountain. And then there's tons of customization offered for the townhomes. With the condos, Edge does those all the same. They just have a few different color palettes, but as far as quality, all of them are going to be the same. It's just going to be changing colors. With townhomes, they have as many upgrade or design options as a single family does for the interior of the home. So you can really get creative on how you do it on finishing the basement. You can have super classical style or super modern, transitional. You can really just design that townhome to fit your specific tastes. And again, we offer a ton of those as specs where you can buy them quick move in, or some that you can go through and do the full design process. With single family homes, our prices are going to be starting, high 400s, and then you can go all the way up to $1 million plus, depending on the floor plan and how many upgrades and things you do. Generally, our spec homes will have between $30,000 and $50,000 of upgrades. When people go through the design center, generally they pick a little bit more than that. So I would take care when looking at a base price versus, what your final price might actually be, because that design center can,
It's enticing.
yes, a ton of variety at Edge. I would say we have as much or more variety than any builder in the state.
For someone that's watched the show, a couple weeks ago, we walked through in Mapleton, the single family that was just in the parade of homes. For that one that has a ton of customization, do you know roughly the price of that one?
So roughly the price, I don't know the exact because they didn't give us the exact number of how many upgrades they put in that house. But based off of my experience, I would say that Edge, if you were to go design that exact home, you would end up at 950 to $1,050,000.
For these edge communities, Nate, what kind of amenities do they provide? Things like clubhouses, maybe pools, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Edge does really incredible communities. I live in one myself and I utilize basically everything that has to offer. Edge will do, it changes community to community, but generally our communities will have some open space for parks. Almost all of them have pickleball courts. The owners love pickleball. We have them in our office, our corporate office at Draper. And almost all of them will have a clubhouse or multiple clubhouses with gym rooms and a big pool. The clubhouse has big gathering spaces you can reserve for events. I've seen birthday parties. I've seen literal weddings held at our clubhouses. Like, they're nice enough to have a wedding. They've got a big kitchen so you can prepare food for the party or whatever event you're hosting. They've got office rooms, so if you wanted to have a business meeting, you can go and reserve the office room and have a big sit-down meeting there. And then the gyms are great. I literally I canceled my Vasa membership and just used the clubhouse gym because it has all the equipment that I need. And there's far fewer people there than at Vasa. So.
Oh my gosh, don't get me started on that.
And it's already built into the cost. So you're not paying extra and then you're not waiting for machines constantly. So a bunch of our communities will have cool walking trails, hiking trails, and some of them will have community internet packages where you've got a 50% discount on fiber internet. So it really depends on the community, but Edge does a really great job at creating a community feel. That's what the owners really focus on, is they want a cool community, not just to crank out houses. They want to build a place where everybody enjoys living and wants to live for a long time. And yeah, I spend a ton of time hiking the trails in my community. I go do walks with my wife almost daily, and we'll go to the gym and we'll take the kids to the pool, and they're really designed to be well utilized.
That's perfect. And even just walking through them, you can feel the community aspect of them. There's always people out, whether it's going through the clubhouse or at the pool. It's an amazing place for kids, especially just because there's so many kids around. Often they're really close to schools, which is perfect. But I just want to jump back into construction process just a little bit.
Yeah.
What kind of technology are they using in the homes? Either energy efficiency or smart tech, any of that kind of stuff that stands out?
Good question. As far as smart home gear goes, Edge leaves that mostly up to the homeowner. With technology changing so fast and Edge wanting to have such a streamlined process, doing smart home and incorporating that, you go and make a deal with some sort of equipment provider, and then that equipment is outdated in 6 months, right when it starts getting rolled into the home. So that can get pretty complicated for a builder. So we'll do high-speed internet and Ethernet cables throughout the house, and our garage doors are smart home compatible, and same with our thermostats. But apart from that, any smart home changes you want to make is going to be left up to you, just because it's too hard to do that at scale and to stay on top of it. Energy efficiency and other technology like Edge does tankless water heaters in everything that we have. So you never are heating a 50-gallon pot of water 24/7. You're just not wasting the gas and the energy to do that. You are heating water as you use it, and it holds up to all of the bathrooms being used. It really is great. Our furnaces are 95% high efficiency furnaces. For example, the house that I moved from was built by a different company and was from 2014 and had an 80% efficient furnace, and it was 3,500 square feet. The house I just moved into is 5,000 square feet with the new furnaces, and my electricity bill in the summer has been $100 less, but my house is 1,500 square feet bigger.
Whoa, that's huge.
It's a huge difference. Those efficient furnaces, 95% efficient furnaces, really will save you a lot of money.
Well, that was a great explanation. I hadn't even thought about that as far as a builder's standpoint. So that makes total sense that it has to be streamlined. And as far as staying up to date, it was a great explanation. So, what kind of incentives does Edge like to do? I know they change all the time, but compared to maybe some other builders or market, what does Edge like to do typically?
I'll tell you what, Edge is taking over market share right now in Utah um, with our incentives. Last month we sold 150 houses, and talking to other builders, they are struggling to get any sales. I mean, they are in the tenths of sales, not the hundreds of sales a month. The incentives that Edge is currently offering are some of the best I've ever seen, and I don't know how long this will stay. It could stay for the next 6 months, or it could be gone next month. But right now on quick move-ins, they are offering a 9% seller credit and a 5.49 interest rate through our preferred lender.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's insane. It's the best incentive I've ever seen offered in my 9-year real estate career. Right now, interest rates are around 6.5%. That's like kind of the median or par rate, average rate. So we're going 1% down from that to a 5.49, and doing 9% of the purchase price of the house, we are giving back to you to use how you would please. You can take that off the price. You can just do a straight price reduction. You can use that to buy down your interest rate even further, cover closing costs, prepay the HOA. There's a lot of ways to get really creative with that much money. And usually people will do a combination of all of the options.
So for people listening, reach out because these incentives do not last very long. And like Nate said, that is huge. 9% of the purchase price that you can use however you want, plus an interest rate that's lower than average. I don't know what to say if people aren't jumping on that one.
I know it's hard because it's like I'm a salesperson, so I'm sitting here going, this is really, really good. Trust me. But like people immediately don't trust because it's coming from me as a salesperson. But it really is the best incentive I've ever seen. And so, if you are considering getting into a home, but you're, wanting to wait for interest rates to start coming down, like that 5.49 is a 30-year fixed rate. Plus, you can use that 9% to go buy it down a little bit further. You could probably go get it down to a 5%, depending. I will preface that, I don't want to make any promises here because it all depends on your credit and your situation. But yeah, it really is. I'm looking at buying a couple investment properties myself using this interest or this incentive because it has made these homes the best opportunity I've seen for Edge product in the 4 years I've been here.
So other than jumping on this incentive that Edge has going on right now, what other advice do you have specifically for first-time home buyers?
That's a good question and a super important one. I think there's a lot of misconceptions about the home buying process for first-time home buyers. People will hear Dave Ramsey saying, "Oh, don't let the house be more than a quarter of your income, and have 20 to 25% as a down payment, or buy it in cash." And the truth is that just is not attainable for 99% of the population. What I tell people is that waiting several years to save up a down payment will cost you so much more than it will help you in the long run. I've watched clients do this several times in my career where they, told me, we're interested, but we're going to stop looking so we can save for a couple of years and save up our down payment and improve our credit. So while they could have bought a home, they decide to wait and keep renting while they save. And the time that it takes to save up that down payment, home prices have appreciated 10, 15%, interest rates have changed, and now they can't buy a home, period. Even though they thought they were making their smart decision initially, they ended up being left behind in the market. So I say as soon as you can afford to buy a home, I recommend people to do it because, the history of the United States, home prices always go up in the long term. There may be short market dips, but they have always gone up. And I believe they will continue to do so. I don't see an end in sight for that, just like I don't see an end in sight for the government to print money and inflation to, stop going up. So it's the sooner the better is my biggest piece of advice.
Well, we talk about that all the time on this show. Just like you said, we've had lenders on talking about the same thing. The broker that I work with talking about the exact same thing. If you talk to any real estate professional, for the most part, I think they will advise a very similar thing. So great advice, Nate. Thank you so much for being with us today. Again, if anyone wants to come check out these model homes, reach out to me. I'd love to take you through, introduce you to Nate. The edge buying process is really amazing. So any last words or?
No, thanks for having me, Will. It was a pleasure to be on here. And yeah, I hope if anybody's interested or any questions at all, my full-time job is answering questions on real estate, specifically about edge. So like never hesitate to call and just check and see what the incentives are, what the good opportunities are, because you might not know what kind of home you could be buying right now just because you don't know what you don't know. So call and ask.
Love it. Perfect. Thank you so much, Nate. We'll catch you again.
Thanks, Will. Talk to you later.
We're back in Riverton today with Edge Homes. Beautiful single family home today, 3-bed, 2.5 bath. That doesn't include the unfinished basement. So let's get into this one. Okay, so starting right off the front door, nice little sitting room. You can use it, I don't know, maybe you're a guitar teacher. This is your space for your guitar lessons right here. We love it. Okay, let's keep going. We're gonna walk into the beautiful great room, 2-story great room, quad windows behind us. You just can't beat the natural light that these Edge homes provide. Love the window on the back door here that leads out to the backyard. You actually have pretty decent grass space in this one, which you don't always get in new build communities. Great space for a nice dining table, as well as this awesome kitchen here. I love the deep sink. Great pantry space in there as well. Because they don't use this one as one of their model homes that they have an office in, we actually get to look at the garage. So let's take a look at the garage. Off of the garage, you also have an awesome mudroom that includes your washer, dryer, and everything too. So you've got awesome 2-car garage behind us that leads into this nice mudroom, and then washer, dryer behind us. Great space in there. You've also got a nice coat closet in here. And then the one thing I forgot to mention, as we walked through the front door, you also have a half bath in the hallway as well. So that's it for this main floor. Let's go take a look at the primary and then the other 2 bedrooms upstairs. Okay, great space off of the stairs here. This leads into our primary, awesome double doors in, which is nice and fun. Beautiful windows. I love the natural light in this room. We only have this little light above us and it is just lit up in here. As we walk into the bathroom, you've got shower, soaking tub, as well as a walk-in closet. So these Edge homes really prioritize your space, and you need a primary bathroom that fits all your needs and is a little sanctuary. So this is your place. You can relax in the tub. You can't beat the closet in the bathroom. Once you have it, you will never go back. You're gonna have to build all your homes from now on because you will need your closet in your bathroom after this. So that's it for this primary bedroom. We're gonna go check out the rest of this upstairs. So we've got 2 more kids' rooms, and these ones are a little different. We haven't seen this in an Edge home design yet. In the other 2 bedrooms here, you've got a Jack and Jill bath in the middle. So let's take a look at that. We've got really big bedrooms in this one here. Again, huge windows. View of the mountains, you've got big cottonwood, little cottonwood, and Mount Timpanogos, and you can probably even see Nebo way down there. So beautiful Wasatch Mountain range in this house. And then as you see, we walk right into the bathroom, and it does connect with the door on the other side. Nice bathroom, tub shower insert, double vanity, really great for kid space. And then we're in the second bedroom. Really nice space in here, double door closets. There's room for couches, chairs, as well as the bed. These Edge homes really just take living to the next level. And that's not even including the unfinished basement that you'll have that you can add on in the future whenever your family's ready. So that's it for this home tour. As always, guys, if you want to come and see any of these houses in person, my information is just right in the description below. Please reach out to me. I'd love to come look at these with you. Thank you again for watching this episode of The Dirt on Real Estate. We always appreciate you stopping by. Please give us a like, comment, subscribe. All of that really helps us out here. As always, if you have questions about real estate here in Utah, whether you're looking to buy, sell, or just have questions about the market, my email and number are in the show notes below. Please feel free to reach out. Or if you'd like to see any of these edge homes that we've seen lately, reach out. I'd love to take you through any of them. That's it for this week. Tune back in next week for more dirt.